Living History, World War II stories as told by those who were there.
And today we have the honor and the privilege of hearing the story of a B-17 Navigator in the Pacific during World War II. Major Davy Crockett was a navigator aboard a B-17 en route from San Francisco to Clark Field in the Philippines by way of Ford Island in Hawaii when they found themselves in the midst of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Brooke, why did the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor?
Dave, by destroying our fleet at Pearl Harbor and our planes on the ground at both Ford Island and Clark Field, the Japanese thought that they would cripple our efforts to curtail their expansion in the Pacific. As well, they thought that the American public would not want another world war, particularly if these attacks were successful. They badly miscalculated the will of the American people.
And that's which bomb group was this now?
19th Bomb Group.
19th Bomb Group, okay.
Half the 19th Bomb Group at the time I joined them in Albuquerque was in Clark Field, Manila. Oh. And there were 2 squadrons of us in Albuquerque. And we were to fly over and join them. And all of this preparation was going for it. And in May of '41, Major LeMay flew the first B-17 from San Francisco to Hawaii. And I didn't have any experience going out over that ocean until night of December the 6th.
Were you a little nervous about that?
No.
You thought you knew your stuff?
I didn't figure the hell I could do what I did before we got there.
And so you shoot the stars, right? By celestial, you're taking fixes on stars?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so what if it's overcast, then what?
You don't get it. You wait until you do.
Oh, okay.
Then you do what they call DR, dead reckoning. And if you reckon wrong, you're dead. Anyway, about 15 to 20 minutes out, the guys in the back, the gunners, called up and said, there's an awful lot of airplanes north of us. And so I looked out that little one window they had there, and sure enough, you could see a whole flight of airplanes. They're about 10 miles away, I guess.
Did you have any ammunition on board? Or?
No ammunition aboard. We had too much, that'd be too much weight to haul. And the colonel that briefed us told us we would have no ammunition overcoming. We would get ammunition in Oahu, at Hickam. The ammunition would be loaded in the guns, and the gunners would be on alert from there to Clark Field. Now that's the first indication of anything going over. So that's the night of December the 6th. Well, what the hell do I know? I don't know what's going on. And so we saw the Japanese going back, but none of us recognized that airplane, even though all during the summer of '41 we had studied silhouettes every morning at 10 o'clock. Japanese aircraft, Japanese ships, German aircraft, and German ships getting prepared. And I didn't recognize anything, and no one else did, and we were letting down quite a ways out, going in my ETA so we could get down, saving the gas. And we were down to about 1,500 feet, I guess, and off in front of us there, quite a ways, there was 8 little specks that was showing up. And they got closer and closer, and with airplanes, I didn't recognize it as a zero either, even though I looked at silhouettes for hours. And then the flashes started coming on their wings, and tracers started going by. And there were 8 zeros, and they all fired at us at the same altitude. And as they came around, they were to get on our tail, they rocked that thing up, and there's that big red circle on the wing. And I thought, God, that must be a Navy airplane. I never saw a thing like that before. And then the tracers were behind us, and they didn't stay with us too long, but Cooper, the aircraft commander, put that thing right down on the deck. I mean, he put the nose down, and we got right flat on the water. And they can't dive at you. He knew this, I didn't. And So they were going back out because they were out of gas or fuel probably, going to the carriers. So they left us pretty quick. And then we rounded Diamond Head right on the deck, and man, you never saw such a mess in your life. Smoke, airplanes, tracers coming up to the ground, and tracers coming at you from airplanes. And tried to call tower, approach control, nobody answered. And I can understand why. I'm not going to sit up in that tower and let Zero strafing it. So we crossed Ford Island and couldn't land at Hickam because it's full of burning airplanes. The airplane ahead of us, flown by Tweed Swenson, and they came in and got it, just picked out Hickam Hill and landed. But on the way in, they got shot up by Zeros, and just about the time he leveled off, the tail broke off, and he hit the ground. And you probably saw it in the newsreel of a B-17 with all 4 engines facing upward. We came in and had no place to go, and tracers were coming up from the ground, and I think, well, the Japanese had got number 2 engine, we thought. We didn't know whether it was because it's out of fuel or what happened, but the engineer didn't figure out either. They had to feather it before we got to Diamond Head. And we crossed over Hawaii, Ford Island. We had another engine go out, and we think tracers from the ground crew got that, because they were coming up. And we were about 1,500 feet, and Cooper said, everybody get a chute, we're going to bail out. And he was going to fly up toward the mountains at north, and everybody going to jump. But in the process of doing that, we saw a Wheeler field, and it was burning pretty good, but it had a big grass open field. It didn't have a runway like we have today. It just open field, and so we headed for that with 2 engines out, put it in, wheels up. And then we got out and jumped and ran and across the field, got in some woods over there, and that was the first time I'd ever been called Davy. Major Landon was there, and he said, here comes Davy Crockett. And I've been called Davy ever since then.
Yeah.